And when you allow yourself to live your experience, live your lived experience from there, then you begin to see that the universe, which is an extension of you, is constantly giving you everything you want. Welcome to Worthiness Wednesday. I'm Perry Gruber, the Enlightenment Guy. For over a decade, I've helped people master their mindsets so they can live lives they love and get results without the burnout or the hustle. Typically, I talk about client experiences which demonstrate the effectiveness of the positively focused framework. But today, I want to follow on with this Worthiness Wednesday episode on the AI and Spirit episode that published on Monday, AI, the Ant, and the Grasshopper. The reason why I want to do that today is because the subject of that video deserves more attention, especially from the perspective of worthiness. So that's what I'm going to do today. And I want to start by saying, if you haven't seen that episode, AI, the Ant, and the Grasshopper, it's worth your watching, because it's offering a profound revelation and a reframing of an ancient story that has ramifications that have run throughout human history. And that's why I want to talk about it today too. This book, it's an Aesop's fable, The Ant and the Grasshopper, and how it affects everybody's sense of worthiness. But before we talk about the book, I have to redefine or revisit what worthiness is. And I did one of my first Worthiness Wednesdays videos was about the nature of worthiness. But in case you haven't watched it, worthiness is what naturally occurs when you realize, when it becomes real for you, that the universe is constantly giving you everything that you desire in divine timing, without you knowing how it's going to happen or when it's going to happen, and without you having to exert any effort to make that happen. When you see that happening over and over in your life, when you see the universe giving you everything you want in supreme divine timing, a sense of worthiness naturally emerges from within you. It's a sense that you're loved, that you're taken care of, that you have to strive for nothing, that you don't have to burn out or hustle to get what you want. And that is such a divine segue I just offered myself, because your worthiness is something that is within you at all times, but most people aren't in touch with it. And because of that, they have to experience possibly burnout, definitely have to experience nose to the grindstone action or hustling in order to get what they want, because they believe they have to earn what they want. They believe they have to work hard to get what they want. They believe that if they don't take action, what they want won't happen. And that's why we see so much going on in the world, because so many people are living from those stories. And those I've got to work hard stories all have their basis in the fable, The Ant and the Grasshopper. So just a quick synopsis of that story. The storybook, The Ant and the Grasshopper, is obviously about an ant and a grasshopper. And in the spring, the ant is very industrious. He is going about gathering food to store for winter. Meanwhile, the grasshopper is enjoying a playful, joyful life, singing, exploring, these kinds of things, not preparing for winter. And according to the fable, when winter comes, the ant is happy and at ease in its storage location, enjoying all the food stuff that it has prepared for winter with. Meanwhile, the grasshopper is out in the winter and suffers badly because it has not prepared. And the moral of the story is along the lines of you have to prepare for the future, and if you don't, you're going to be screwed. It also conveys the moral that playfulness and laziness sow the seeds for future disaster. Now, if you paid attention to what I said in the first part of this video, you can see how this runs totally counter to your worthiness, totally counter to the fact that the universe is constantly giving you everything you want without you having to do anything in order to get it other than line up with that which it is that you want. So, I don't know when Aesop's fables were first written. I may do a little bit of research and put that in the screen. But these fables have been around for a long time. And the ant and the grasshopper is a story that's pretty much taught to all children. At least it was when I was a child. And you can see how this story has developed within human society, this idea that you have to work, you have to prepare, or else you're going to suffer. And that is so inconsistent with how the universe actually works. The principles underlying how physical reality works tells us, demonstrates to us that this idea that the Ant and the Grasshopper children's book conveys is a massive distortion. And that's what I talk about in the AI and Spirit episode that dropped last Monday. I'm talking about it in this Worthiness Wednesday episode to express how important it is for us to move beyond this long-held belief that we must work in order to earn, especially in the light of the AI age, where pretty much all work is going to be done by AI. And this is this fact of AI taking all the jobs is what Elon Musk is pointing to when he says there's going to be an existential crisis. It's not going to be an existential crisis around AI wiping out humanity. It's an existential crisis around human beings not realizing they're worthy, and as a result of that lack of realization, coming to an existential crisis about their value as human beings when they can no longer contribute through work and thereby gain value from that contribution, gain a sense of worthiness from that contribution. Your worthiness was never tied to your output, your production, your ability to put your nose to the grindstone. But stories like the Ant and the Grasshopper have entrained us all into believing that it is true that we have to work to earn. And because of that, the leaders of our society, those who have shaped our society, have created a society in which not only do you have to work to earn, but if you don't, there's the potential of suffering. Now, for those who are aware and allowing for themselves opportunity, it is not necessarily so that you have to suffer, even in the United States, if you're not earning. There are many programs in this nation that allow people a basic living without having to earn a whole lot of money, especially if you don't have debt. And so, even in today's system, there's evidence that shows that you don't have to earn in order to have a living. And that's going to be exacerbated as we move forward. It's going to be amplified as we move forward and AI takes over all the jobs. And so, on this Worthiness Wednesday, I am urging my viewers to consider this. Now is the time, while we still have time, now is the time to begin aligning ourselves with our worthiness so that when the disconnect fully takes place, where jobs are no longer available to human beings, you don't suffer, you viewers, you don't suffer the existential crisis of your value still being tied to what you did at work. Instead, you have plenty of time right now, as we're moving into the AI age, for you to reconnect with your worthiness, to build a basket of evidence showing you that everything you're wanting is coming without any effort on your part. Now, in previous raw blogs, I have shared examples in my life where that is an indisputable fact. And in previous Worthiness Wednesdays episodes, I have shown evidence where my clients are having their versions of the same experiences I'm having. In fact, last week, I think it was last week, no, it was the week before, in the raw blog, I detailed a new apartment building that it's like 98% sure that I'm moving into. And that has resulted from me not lifting a finger to make anything happen. It was all being orchestrated on my behalf by the universe. Literally tens of thousands of people were co-creating the experience of me being able to live on the top floor of that brand new building, in the perfect place in that building, so that I had magnificent views in a brand new building, all for the cost of what I'm currently paying in a studio apartment that was built probably in the 1950s or earlier. So there's magnificent opportunity in the timing we're experiencing now, the confluence of the rise of AI, the AI age, and our expansion as human beings, to move beyond stories we've accepted as true, such as the ant and the grasshopper story. There's no better time to move forward in our personal expansion and realize that we are inherently worthy of everything we desire. And in that inherent worthiness, those things we desire will unfold in our lives, again, in divine timing, without any effort on our part. Now, I've said this before too in other videos. When I say no effort on our part, what I mean is you're inspired to take action only when that action allows you to be in a time and place and physical reality where you enjoy, as the final cooperative component, the assembly of all other cooperative components that are coming together in divine timing, where when they come together, they result in the manifestation of your desire. That's exactly what happened with the apartment building, Albino 1, that I was talking about in the previous episode. It's exactly what I'm talking about when my clients have their manifestational experiences. For example, one of my clients won a 1-carat diamond in a raffle. Now, by definition, in raffles, you can't take any action to win them other than putting yourself in the raffle. But my client had an inspiration. She knew she was going to win that diamond before she won it. And the inspiration was to put herself into the raffle. And that's what she did. And because she knew she was going to win it, that was an impulse from her broader perspective. Of course, she won the diamond. This is constantly happening with all of us on all of our desires. But sometimes it takes longer than others on some subjects for things to unfold, mostly because we're not a match to them in any given moment. And so it seems like it takes longer for the manifestation to occur. This is where the positively focused framework comes in, because through the framework, we learn how to become a match to our desires so that our desires come more I want to say quickly, but it's not really quickly. What happens is it feels like it happens faster, but it's happening in the same timing. It's just that you're no longer focused on the time it's taking when you align yourself with the positively focused framework. And so the time seems to pass quickly. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, time flies when you're having fun. I'm sure there have been many experiences when you're bored or unhappy, time seems to pass slowly. But when you're engaged or having fun, time seems to pass quickly. So in the same way, when you're in the positively focused framework, you're not focusing on the when it's going to happen. And so the time seems to pass quickly, but it's still the same amount of time because you still have to soothe whatever resistance you have that makes you not a match to what you're wanting. And that sometimes takes time. So, on this Worthiness Wednesday, I want to amplify the realization, the knowing that you are worthy. And it is inherent in you because you're an eternal being, a microcosm of the macrocosm of infinite intelligence of all that is. And when you allow yourself to live your experience, live your lived experience from there, then you begin to see that the universe, which is an extension of you, is constantly giving you everything you want in divine timing, which means when you line up with it. And when you see that happening over and over again, as I do and my clients do, then you can't help but experience the emergence from within you of a state of worthiness. And there's nothing better than worthiness other than empowerment and joy. Check out that AI and Spirit video I published on Monday if you haven't seen it yet. It's a wonderful retelling of an age-old fable that has kept us tied to the idea that you have to hustle in order to get what you want. You don't have to. It can come easy. It can come effortlessly. I encourage you to pursue, to figure out how to have that kind of life experience. You don't have to do it through what I offer. There are lots of people who are offering it. But however you come into it, coming into this state of worthiness is the best thing ever. Because then you realize how powerful you actually are, how blessed you are, and how much the universe is bending over backwards to deliver to you with no effort on your part everything that you desire. Physical reality is becoming a match to that. That's why the AI age is coming about, because in a few years, everything we desire in terms of material things, food, clothing, and other such items, services as well, these things are going to come with no effort on your part, because AI and humanoid robots and the stellar technologies, solar, wind, and batteries, they're going to be combined to be able to produce things that human labor once produced. In the same way that horses were replaced by the internal combustion engine. Oh, it's so good knowing what I know. It's so good watching my clients learning what I know. I just finished a session with a client today. She's a psychiatrist in training, still in medical school. And it's fun watching her realize what she already knows deep inside of her, which has been covered up by her distorted thoughts about life experience. Today, one of the many things we talked about was this oxymoron, toxic positivity. It was such a good conversation about that massive distortion called toxic positivity. Maybe I'll do a blog on that in the future, but not today. Today, I think we're done. So, if you have any questions, I'd love to hear them. Have any yeah buts? I'd love to hear those too. See you in the comments, and see you in the next video.